Joined now by Rami Khouri, who's a distinguished public policy fellow at the American University of Beirut. He joins us now live from Boston, Massachusetts. Rami, fantastic to have you on the program. Now, we have spoken over the past 22 months so much about this subject, and yet we're hearing the Israeli officials saying that they've now approved the assault on Gaza City, and yet this has been condemned by its allies, the UK, Germany, France, Canada, Australia, so many aid agencies as well, and yet they're going ahead with it. How much hopelessness is there right now?
There's a lot of hopelessness, and it's all around. The Palestinians are pretty hopeless. The civilians, because they're vulnerable, they're suffering, they're going to be subjected to a lot more of that. There's hopelessness by the international community that clearly, resoundingly, in a majority of public opinion and governments all around the world, with the exception of the United States and maybe one or two others, wants equal Palestinian-Israeli rights in adjacent states. But there's also hopelessness in Israel, because the Israelis have no idea what they're doing. They keep attacking, they keep acting tough, they keep showcasing their hardware, which their American hardware. They have no clear strategy, no clear exit plan, no clear idea of what to do once they reoccupy Gaza. They occupied Gaza and ran it from 1967 till 2000. And 2005, and that still forced them to leave because the resistance from the Palestinians was costly.
And is this the point at which this hopelessness could bring in a ray of light? Because for 22 months, they've been bogged down in the Gaza war. They haven't achieved their goals yet. We were just hearing from Mohammed Al-Qassim. They're bringing in their reservists. They're fatigued. As you say, there's no strategy.
Yes,
could this has been, I don't know what to even ask you, because I do hope there is hope among the hopelessness.
Well, you're representing very clearly the attitude of virtually the whole world. People just don't know what to do, because the Israelis are showing that they don't care about international law, they don't care about morality, they don't care about UN resolutions and things of that nature. They don't care about what their allies tell them. They just care about asserting their strength, killing and evicting Palestinians from Palestine, establishing more Israeli Jewish Zionist settlements. That's all they seem to be able to know what to do. And the world doesn't quite understand how to deal with this, because this is not just a problem of the suffering of the Palestinians. This is a problem of people all over the world who are now going to suffer because the rules of international engagement and international law and protection of civilians and non-combatants are being shredded and burned along with the babies and the tents that are being shredded and burned in Gaza by Israeli fire of American weapons, and the international legal system that gives people rights of free speech, quality education, judicial rights. All of these are also being attacked by the Israeli Zionist pushing for exclusive rights for the Jewish people in Palestine, but also around the world. That people are making it a law now in some countries to criticize the policies of the Israeli government, which are clearly, apartheid, genocidal policies that leading agencies all around the world, as well as Jewish Israeli ones, have said, though. So this is the bewilderment that the whole world faces.
Absolutely, and that word bewilderment is really encapsulates the moment right now. The International Federation of the Red Cross and Red Crescent has said that displacement of 1 million Palestinians going from Gaza City to the south is unimaginable. What are their options? And can you just, what we've seen already for 22 months, and just to recreate that again, where do they go? What infrastructure is there? What happens next?
The history of Western settler colonialism, as well as Zionist settler colonialism, tells us that they just go anywhere where they can get out of the way of the firing and the attacks and the fires and the shooting. There is no clear safety plan for the Palestinians who are being pushed out of Gaza or Rafah or any place else. in Gaza. This is the whole point of settler colonialism, that they treat the indigenous people like animals. They kill them, they shoot them, they drive them out, they dehumanize them, they starve them, and there is no clear plan for how to deal with it. The world thought that it had a plan in the international humanitarian law and UN resolutions and rules of war, but the Israelis have made it clear, with direct American, British, German, and French support over the last almost 2 years, that these rules don't apply to Israel. Israel can do anything it wants, and therefore the world doesn't know exactly what to do. Only the United States can push a button and force the Israelis to stop this genocide and this massacre. Only the US, because it provides the weapons, the money, the diplomatic support that Israel needs to be able to keep doing what it's doing. And there are no signs yet of Trump planning to change his total support for what Israel is doing. It doesn't mean that he may not change his mind. He may well change his mind down the road if his support for Israel hurts him politically at home, which it is starting to do. There are credible signs in public opinion, voting preferences, primaries, like in New York City. There's strong signs that the American government's support for the Israeli genocide is hurting the incumbent political class in the United States. We see this in Europe and other places as well. Until that becomes clear to the political class, we're probably not going to see more than symbolic actions, like the Europeans saying they will recognize a Palestinian state. Well, that's a good thing to do, but it doesn't have any impact on anybody. But it makes them feel better. And this is how the colonial system works, that you do things that are meaningless, but that sound good, and therefore quiets the opposition. But we're really in a new phase, not just in the brutality and the impunity that Israel is implementing, but in the challenge to the entire world about how to deal with this, a runaway kind of zombie killing machine that Israel has become, attacking Iraq and Syria and Lebanon and Iran and anywhere it wants in the region. And nobody is actually doing anything, even when they're supposed to. For instance, the French and the United States were supposed to monitor the ceasefire in Lebanon. But they've done nothing. They've done nothing about the Israelis. Over 1,000 violations they've had and killings, and they keep occupying land in Lebanon. So even when there's an agreement by some of the Western powers to do something useful that's fair to both sides, they don't do it. So really, this is a whole new era of intellectual and political and moral action by the world. And this is going to be fascinating to watch what happens as the world tries to grapple with this. Unfortunately, the Palestinians are paying the biggest price.
Rami, I would love to continue speaking about this point, because it really does feel like a completely new era, as you say, a runaway zombie state. Rami Khouri, always a pleasure to have you on the program. Thank you so much for your time and your thoughts.
Thanks, Maria.